All right, one of the things that I often notice in yoga classes is actually how people get down to and up from the floor. Often people pay a lot of attention to actually what they're doing with themselves in the pose, but very little attention to what they're doing when they're not doing the poses. So a really common pattern that we'll see is that as people begin to move, the very first thing that happens is a little contraction of the head on top of the spine. And so we may get something like this. Okay, does that look a little familiar? So I jam the head down, and at the same time then I've lifted my shoulders up, and then I get down to do whatever it is. And then the thing that we'll often notice as people get off the floor is that we get a similar pattern. We get an actual compression through the body that's almost activated by this head being pressed into the spine being contracted. And then as people get up, we sort of go like that. And when I work, often in my one-on-one lessons working with older people, I often work with people who actually can't get up from the floor anymore, because the harder they try to get up from the floor, then the more downward pressure they put through the whole body to try to get up from there. And then they may have to hold on to something. Even holding on to something, they have trouble getting up. So what I want to look at is how do we use the Alexander technique to bring awareness to this movement so that we're not repeating this movement over and over again. Because this doesn't only happen when we get up and down from the floor, it happens when we get into a chair, when we get out from a chair. And how many times do we do that every day? So what we want to be thinking, we want to catch that initial impulse. The initial impulse is going to be that little contraction. So instead of that, I'm going to just pause for that moment, and I'm going to think of allowing that little ease of the neck. I'm going to think of the head just easing a little in this direction, and from here I can come down. So as I'm coming down here, I'm keeping this ease and opening through the torso. So likewise, as I come up now, that from here, as I'm coming on up, again I catch that impulse to tighten. Instead of that, I'm freeing. I'm beginning to energize through the whole system. What we call directing in the Alexander technique. And then from here, I come up. And it's easy.